Hey guys, I'm Crystal and welcome to my bubble. Today I'm going to be completing the weekend challenge in Crafty Amino. Today's weekend challenge is called Cuisine Crafts. I'm going to be making a pho and ramen bowl. Well, not both. There's going to be a pho bowl and then a ramen bowl. And I already have prepared some little Chinese takeout boxes that I printed online. And I printed them on cardstock. Sorry for the awkward pauses. I'm checking this camera, make sure that the lighting's good. Been having a lot of technical difficulties, so hopefully that'll be at a minimum as from here on out. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be making noodles out of polymer clay and a bunch of other little vegetables to go inside of it. And I don't know if I want to do any ones with meat, but I'm going to most likely be using liquid clay or UV resin for the fluid or the broth. Get a few of these things out of the way because I'm not going to use those. I'm going to be using toothpicks and wire today to give it a suspended look because I want the chopsticks to look like they're like taking a bite out of the noodles. So I'm going to start by grabbing my extruder. You of course don't need an extruder to complete this. However, I feel that the extruder gives it a more consistent look. I have a very basic extruder. I got this one off of Amazon. It was about $10. It comes with 20 removable discs. And these are the discs it comes with. I'm going to be using this one to give me some fairly, I guess, thick noodles. Could use this one. This one's a little thinner. But sometimes for me, with the thinner ones, they kind of break apart. I know, it's kind of hard to choose. You know what? I'm going to use both. Thicker ones for the pho, and then the thinner ones for the ramen. I'm going to have to clean mine off a little bit, of course, but thankfully I have a little spritz bottle with alcohol in it. Always have that handy. So I'm going to go ahead and put these to the side right here so I can find them later. I'm going to grab my little alcohol spritz bottle. Then I have a little rag on the side. Got a couple sprays. Something about alcohol works excellently. A friend of mine uses a bottle of water on the side, but for me, water doesn't always clean up everything. And I love using alcohol because it dries really, really fast, and it cleans up most areas that I work with. I work with a lot of resin and polymer clay, work with alcohol, inks, and paint, and the alcohol just really breaks it up really well. Especially UV resin or epoxy resin, glue too. Alcohol just somehow breaks it up. So that's what's in this wall. And this is just regular rubbing alcohol. The kind that you get over the counter. It's about like 50%. Nothing special. So I have a few pieces of clay. I always have some polymer clay on the other side of my work desk. I just found it to be a more efficient way to work because I'm always using polymer clay or always using resin, and so those are the bins I usually go to the most. And it's just nice to have the pieces that already out from the package I've opened. They're just already out in the open, ready to go. It saves me time from having to unwrap the packages and etc., etc. Won't go into details, but yeah, that saves me time. But I figure I'll probably put some carrots, corn, and peas in there, so these are the perfect colors for that. I can mix up a brown with some chopped pastels. I already have like this little sheet over here, And as you can see, it looks like smudged paint, which is kind of what I ended up making, because I did scrape off some chalk pastels of different tones of brown and orange and yellow, and then I hit it with my little spray bottle of alcohol right here. And then that kind of made it, it made it really wet, and again, the stuff dries really fast, so you can just work with it and dab on some chalk pastels, use it almost like paint in a way, and then it'll dry really fast. And if you don't like it, spray some alcohol on it and wipe it off. But it leaves a more permanent, to me it feels more permanent when I use when I use the chalk pastels with the alcohol rather than just dusting it on itself. It gives it a different effect too. It's more of a smooth colorization than the buildable kind when you dust it. So it just really depends on what look you're going for. But since I'm going for an even look with the broth, I'm definitely going to be using some pastel and mixing it in. So again, right here, these little bowls that you see here are from me taking some polymer clay. It's Granite Primo is the brand, and I rolled it thin. I say a 3 on my polymer clay machine. I cut it with a cookie cutter, and then I laid it on top of this little wooden ball. Baked it, and now I have a bowl. And some of them I sanded the edges. Other ones I didn't. I wanted a more organic feel. And then, like with this one, I put some gold patina ink in just to give it something different. So I experimented, got a few different bowl shapes and sizes. Well, all the same size, just kind of different effects on them because I didn't stand all of them. So I have those to work with. Those are my bowls, and I'm going to probably use those for the pho. And the ramen, I'm going to be using the Chinese takeout boxes. For the noodles, I personally like using tan clay or like beige, but you can use white noodles and then paint them. It all depends on the time that you want to put into this. Me personally, I usually don't like spending too much time on any of my projects, but I did find out that the more time you put into it, the better the end result, and then the higher amount of money you can sell it for. So if you're in it for quick crafts, just do the shortcuts. If you're in it for the detail, then do it that way too. Right now, I have some beige clay, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and bust that out. Amongst the other 100 piles of clay I have. Let's see. I'm going to be using, I believe it's called Beige Flesh from Kato. Yes, that's the name of it. Let me pull that out for you guys. So I'm going to be using this Kato. See, there we go. Beige Flesh. And I got this packet in a trade with, her name is Gottlieb Crafty now. She used to be called Gottlieb Pancakes on Crafty Amino and Polymer Clay Amino. But I think she's probably mostly on Instagram. She does really, really cool polymer clay work. Really love her stuff. She has like a very earthy vibe in her work that she does. She uses like a lot of natural things like crystals and symbolic items. I think it's pretty cool. I've gotten some really fun items from her. And I love all of her work. She does some insane things. But to get back to it, here's the clay. I love this color. And it is a little translucent, which is perfect for the noodles that I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut up. I have my blade over here. My blade again needs a little cleaning, so I just grab my rag. Any of the discoloration you see on my rag is from my alcohol inks or resin. Another thing I like to do is use these small wax sheets to put my stuff on to keep them separate and keep everything clean. And here and there, I'll use gloves. It really depends on the project and what I'm doing. If I'm working with like white and lighter clays, I'm not going to be mixing it with anything darker, then yeah, I'll probably wear gloves, or I'm going to be very meticulous about how clean I keep my area. Today I don't really feel the need to be overly tidy, or, well, not just tidy, but overly clean, so I'm most likely going to skip the gloves. I did wash my hands prior to filming this, so I don't have any like debris or dust on them. That's a good thing to start with. It's just clean washed hands, and from there, I mean, if you touch your clothes or you touch anything that's dusty, then just wash your hands again or spray it with some hand sanitizer, have some wipes available. I personally like to keep these Clorox disinfecting wipes nearby. They come in handy in a pinch. They are very great with cleaning sticky stuff like resin or super soft polymer clay off of things. Oh yeah, what do you guys think about my new crafting mat? Let's see. It is a Postnet one. I'm afraid to move it because if I show you the Postnet logo on there, what might happen is I won't be able to get back in this position later. It literally took me about 20 minutes to find a great spot to film this from, so maybe at the end I'll show you guys the logo. But this is from a day job at Postnet, where I do all of my marketing materials and logos, graphic design, and shipping. They also have plenty of shipping supplies. They are excellent. This is not an advertising plug, by the way. I literally work there, and I love it. Best place ever. So, yeah. Beyond that, let's get down to making an actual bowl. I mean, not the bowl, but let's get to putting this together. First thing I'm probably gonna do is make the noodles. So with my blade, just gonna and this is unnecessary. I don't really need to cut it. It's already marked, but this to me makes it come out more evenly sliced, and I can measure it better. Because there are 8 evenly scored, I guess, evenly scored marks in Kato. And since there's 2 ounces, that means each one is a 1/4 ounce. So that's kind of helpful when trying to make things consistent, you know, or the same size. It's giving them all that nice uniform look. And I'm just going to go ahead and squish a little with my hands. I like to precondition things before I run it through my pasta machine, or before I put it in my extruder, which, you know what, this one is actually really nice and pliable right now. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and plug it into my extruder. And I could cover this surface if I wanted to. I have plenty of wax sheets, but I don't see the need because right now I'm not going to be rolling anything on there. I like to condition mine in my hand. I don't like to roll it on the table too much because I feel that that's how a lot of dust gets trapped into some of my work. And like with this one, I'm not having any problems with dust by rolling it with my hands because I started off with clean hands, and So yeah, it's kind of hard to get dust where there is no dust. However, on my table, I mean, debris flies no matter what. It's going to be around, it's going to land somewhere, and you run the risk of it getting into your clay when you roll it on your table, even if you've already wiped down your table and everything. It's just what happens. So I'm going to open up this extruder. Doobie doobie. I kind of miss doing these live. It was really fun. Although I didn't get a lot of people who followed, it's just people who did watch it were really nice, and they were always inquisitive and asked me plenty of questions about it, or, just talk to me about my day. And that was one of the reasons I really loved filming and doing like broadcasting. I was doing it for live.me and a few other sites, but those didn't pan out. Different reasons why. And of course, none of them were just like great reasons. It wasn't like, oh, we ended on good terms. It was usually them cheating me out of money and things that I had earned. So I just decided to do things on my own, which is what I should have been doing from the beginning. YouTube is a great platform for that. And hopefully, I mean, I don't think I'm going to do super well on YouTube. It's just going to be a third-party site for me to get noticed or to put my work out there, to have easy accessibility. I'm eventually going to place all my videos and everything on clubbubblegum.com. Alright, so I got everything in here. It was taking me so long because, one, I want to make sure that my extruder's clean. And two, just pushing it in gently. Alright, so this is the thicker one. I'm going to go ahead and start with the thinner gauge. I do believe I was going to use the thinner gauge on the ramen, the thicker one on the pho. You know what? I think I just might not use that thin one at all. Those are really, really tiny, and I don't know. The thinner one might look more realistic, but it's just a pain to deal with. And also, I don't want these to break. So I'm going to go ahead and twist these. And I'm going to check my camera, make sure that you guys are getting a good view on this. So there we go. Doesn't this bring back childhood nostalgia of working with Play-Doh and doing the one with like the growing hair? Would be cool if Play-Doh had like a pasta shop or something. Well, and as you can see, these are fairly thin as is. I mean, the other ones are thinner. And I think these are easy to work with. I mean, and Kato's not as sticky of a clay when it's extruded out like this, so it won't stick to itself too much. I'm going to go ahead and plop this out. I think this is more than enough. And the best way to do that is to rewind this, open this up, then plop my little disc out. Then I'll wipe it down later. I'm really bad on cleaning my extruder out right away. Like one of those people, if I don't do it right then and there, I'll never get around to it. Or I'll get around to it when it's crucial of me needing the tool. And it's just like, oh god, now I have to take more time to clean it. Just like that. I don't even know why. It's like I'm cautious and I'm well knowing of my bad behaviors, but I still do it. Hashtag laziness. And it's really hard to grow out of that. So, alright, I believe I'm done with the extruder for now. So I'm going to push it to the side. Perfectly clean. Alright, let's go ahead and get these back in there. So, now I have my noodles. These beautiful little babies right here. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and put these to the side. On their wax sheet, of course. So I'm opening up that yellow clay. And honestly, this project probably won't take you as long as it's taking me to do it. Because one, you won't be filming and trying to explain yourself as you go. And secondly, you probably just be more laser focused and know what to do and just get right on it. I swear, each time I've made this, I make it a little different each time. That's just how I am. I'm always usually trying to do it differently to see if I'll get a better effect or find one way that I'll finally love it. And I have yet to find a way that I like absolutely love these to be, so until then, I'm probably gonna keep, you know, it a work in progress and just making it until I like it. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so I had these little boxes already. I'm going to start with these. I feel they'll be the easiest to make because they don't involve any like additional ingredients like liquid anything right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and, oh yeah, let me show you guys how they look. They look like this, flat, and then of course, as I told you in the beginning, I printed on cardstock. Did the cardstock because cardstock is nice and thick, and it just holds up better. It's more substantial. And it just holds its shape and you can score it without it ripping. If you can see right here, let me make sure you guys are, I'm in frame for one. Hi. Thank you. So if you can see where I scored it, it's like I'm able to drag the knife across the paper and it's going to bend and it won't just like completely break off. And that's what I love about cardstock. So yeah, I used cardstock to make these little boxes. After I printed it, I just cut it, scored it, and here we are. And I folded it into the boxes. To have it hold the stay in the box shape, which is what you do want, I have Fix All. This is a super glue adhesive. Honestly, if you don't have this, E6000 works. That's a typical glue, jewelry glue. Actually, you don't even have to use this. Let me go ahead and put this away. I just thought about it. That's something more practical is any PVA glue, Mod Podge, Elmer's glue. Everyone has that to some degree. If you don't, flour and water. So after doing that, just gonna, I put a little in this container just so I can not thin it out, but to me it's easier to apply than straight from the bottle. Even with the Elmer's glue, I'd do the same thing. And on these little tabs, I'm just gonna apply a little dab of glue. Oh yeah, the only difference with the flour and water than this stuff is that this doesn't have, the flour and water won't have like the plastic in it. It'd just be like a basic binder, but you can totally bake it without worrying if it's gonna combust or or melt. because I did use, when I first started with these boxes, I used to put them, I used to use sticky tape, just like regular Scotch tape. And I mean, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't great. Sometimes it would melt or it would leave little yellow residue. And although it was inside, I still didn't like it. Because I just, if I'm going to make a product for someone or spend some time crafting, I'd like it to look its best. And I can tell you right now, the tape, it was a good method for the moment, but it's definitely not something, if you want a professional end result. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that to 2 more of these because I don't want to waste too much of your time making all of these that I had planned. It's going to do enough for you guys to see me do the project, and then, yeah. And yeah, I'm also putting a little bit on the inside too. Just where the folds are. I hope you guys are able to see this well. I'm switching between standing and sitting to film this. Usually when I'm standing, I know for sure that you guys are able to see it because I can see it too. When I'm sitting, it's like, oh, it's a guessing game. But I believe I'm in frame. I just hope I'm in focus. Alright, so that's the last one. And the best thing about these little cups that I have here is once I let this dry, I can peel it right off and reuse it. Alright, so I have my boxes. They're going to be drying while I make the carrots, corn, and peas. If you want a version that uses like meat or something, just grab like some meat colored clay or brown. You can even use white or the translucent clay and just color it after. But I'm going to be doing just a basic carrot, corn, and peas because it's the easiest to do. And it still gives you that same great effect without all the extra effort. So to make the carrot, hold on, let me get off of the extra wax sheets. I have a wax sheet down and some orange Kato clay. I'm just rolling it out fairly thin. To be honest, right here, you could leave it just like this and then just slice this up and add it in to it. That way you don't have to worry about it getting mushed. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Because every other time I just slice raw pieces of clay and to me it just ends up looking like a mess. So I'm going to roll that out just like that. For the corn, I believe I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to go ahead and take a nice clean slice from this yellow Kato. And right now I'm using Kato. All of these are just some leftover Kato colors that I had. And I'm just taking little pieces off of it. But Kato's a great clay. It really is. It's nice and firm. And if you get it when it's fresh, you can work with it right out the packet. Only difference is it does have a, I guess, a smell to it. It smells like a floaty, like one of those swim floaties that you put on your arms. It has that very PVC-ish scent to it. Besides that, I think it's a great clay. It's great for caning. I mean, it's good for just about anything. Actually got more yellow than I probably needed, but I don't mind. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this into 2 and just have 2 strips. For the green one, I am gonna actually take my time with this one and roll it out into little peas. Just gonna go ahead and slice that up. Into teeny tiny little squares, and then I will roll these with my finger. Alright, I'm just gonna break those up. So a lot of you may have been wondering, where did all of my other videos on YouTube go? Why am I only on Bubblegum Kush Vlog 2? I did have several up. I have been filming consistently for, I want to say, about 10 weeks. And what happened was, in that time, YouTube had decided to no longer allow viewers with under 1,000 subscribers to film with their phones. And that made it a little difficult for me because at the time I was able to do my live videos fairly easily, and then with little to no effort. And now it's just more difficult because I have to rely on my internet connection and my webcam. And although my webcam's okay, it's not as great as the quality that I get from my phone. And it's just not as easy to set it up too, because the length of the cord limits where I can film. And with my mobile phone, I just had more accessibility, and I had prepared everything for that and set up a little wall connection, and yeah, so it just made it a little inconvenient. So I'm working with what I got, and now I've just decided it's probably best that to keep the convenience of the mobility, it's best that I just pre-record my videos with my phone and then upload it. Although I don't get the same interaction, I'm actually going to be trying to aim to get 1,000 subscribers. Anything beyond that, I'm not really going to care too much about unless YouTube changes their policy again. But again, I'm not doing this for the followers. I'm not doing this to gain, notoriety on YouTube. That YouTube is just definitely not the platform I want to succeed on, but I'm not opposed to it. I just really want the accessibility again, and to be able to do it, just more, I just want the convenience of being able to use my mobile phone to do live chats and be able to interact with you guys more. And who knows, maybe hope in the future I'll be able to have that availability with my own website and integrate it there, so I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, I know this. I didn't even really need to cut those up because honestly, I'm just rolling it with my fingers anyways. I don't really care about the consistency of it, and not every pea is the same size. And I'm not a big fan of doing the videos this way, where it's pre-recorded, because it is a little boring. I don't play music. There's just too many problems with playing music while doing videos. And the chances of it getting demonetized are very high, even when you use the ones that they allow you to, and to make it a little monotonous, because then your videos sound like everybody else's. Same song. Do 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 do, or whatever the hell it is. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking anybody else who does it that way. I think it's perfectly great. I've obviously watched your videos to know that. It's just not for me. Okay. So I think I'm going to roll out a few more, and then I'm going to let that be it. I'm going to get these in the oven, and then I'm going to work on assembling the noodles and the little block at the bottom. And for this, you don't need to bake this part long. It's just a par bake to make slicing these a little, not necessarily easier, but just it keeps it consistent. All right. Oh, look how much faster it goes when I'm not talking. All right. Alright, so I am gonna do a few of these where I just crumble this green, because I'm gonna be using the crumbly part as like a garnish. And now I didn't notice something I did earlier with the orange. I worked with that first before the yellow. Thankfully, it wasn't a big deal because it didn't have any dust on me. But usually you'd go yellow, orange, then green. Just as I did the noodles first, because you want to go from your lightest colors to your darkest colors, because this happens right here. Let me see if that'll show the green on my hands from the clay. Especially working with Kato, because it's so pigmented, you run the risk of contaminating your other clay colors. Although it won't matter too much with this, because they are all going in the same place, but still it's nice to keep it separate. So this is going to go in the oven for about five or so minutes on right now. I have it set to 325 degrees. And yes, usually that is a little high for how I like to bake mine. I'm usually a low and slow person. But because this is just a quick bake. Oh, and that's on 10 minutes, so let's see. There you go. So I have it right now on 5 minutes at 325 degrees. And I did start with a cold oven. I have a little toaster oven on the side. I highly recommend that all of you who work with polymer clay get a toaster oven. One that you can dedicate just to polymer clay, and you'll notice the difference when you work. It's a lot easier, it's a lot more convenient than having to use your house oven. And although, yes, polymer clay is non-toxic, if it has the ASTM on it, it's completely non-toxic. And it's perfectly safe to use in your oven that you use for food. However, I just prefer not to. I like using my craft stuff for my crafts and dedicating it to that, and using my oven for oven stuff. most of the things I do at polymer clay are small sculptures and charms and jewelry, so it's the perfect size for it. If I need to do something bigger, I will use the big oven. But I rarely need to use it because with the with the toaster oven you can adjust the size. So let's go ahead and move forward before I go on a tangent and start talking too much. My little boxes are now dry. And as I told you, I want to do a suspended look. I wanted the chopsticks to be held in the air with noodles. And it look like they're grabbing a noodle. I have these toothpicks that are, I don't know how you say it, but they're kind of tapered, where it gets skinnier and then a little wider at the top. I think these are a good one to use for chopsticks, since that's kind of how chopsticks naturally are. And so to keep the size consistent, I'm going to do about half of this, half this size. And score the toothpick. And with my toothpick scored, I should be able to just snap it. Just like that. And now I have 2 pairs of chopsticks. I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side. And you can cut them to make it even. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a quick sanding. I'm going to do it off, a little out of frame, because I want to do it off to the side so I don't get any this wood dust on my surface over here. So as you can see, even you get little bits of clay. And see how this one's a little wonky. You know what, maybe I can, I have an idea. Here we go, wax sheet. I'm a little picky when I file. I like to file in one direction, just like I'm doing my nails, because you run the risk of it splitting when you do the back and forth. You allow it, any subject, even if it's not wood, you allow it to kind of like splinter. If you do this rough back and forth. Whereas if you file one direction, it all goes with that grain. It goes with the grain in that direction you file. So instead of doing it like this, I just like to flip. I strike in one direction and I just flip the item. And I just keep going in that same direction. So it has a nice, smoother, more even result. Alright, and there we go. That caught all of this bric-a-brac right here. Throw that away to the side. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna wash my hands because I have this green clay on it. And I don't want to contaminate anything. what do you know, all that talking, and now my peas, carrots, and corn are done. Alright, so I'm going to let those cool for about another minute or two while I actually get these prepped and ready. And reminds me, I still need to make one more set of toothpicks. Chopsticks. I'm going to do a little differently this time instead of scoring it. I'm going to use some sharp stainless steel surgical scissors. I could have did that the first ones, would have probably had a different effect, but I don't know. It's your choice. I personally like these better, with the ones that I filed. Maybe you can't tell a difference. These are really straight edged, but yeah, it's just preference. Two different ways. Next thing I'm going to do is grab some wire. Looking for some of my cheap craft wire. Here we go. I have some cheap 20 gauge copper wire. You can get this at Walmart. I personally wouldn't use your higher end wire for this because you're not going to see it. Unless you plan on making this like a luxury product or something. I just have a 3-in-1 tool. I'm going to cut off, let's see, spiral. Let me go ahead and grab one of these for you guys. I'm going to put it on the centimeter side because centimeter is more universal. Well, this one's not in centimeters, it's in millimeters, but still, same thing. Alright, so I'm going to do 100 millimeters or 10 centimeters of wire. And I do believe that translates to 4 inches for those Americanos out there. Yeah, it's about 4 inches. And as you can see, I'm not being very exact with my measurement. It's more of around that amount. As long as I have enough to make a little base at the bottom and have enough to suspend the toothpicks and chopsticks, doesn't matter. Alright, to suspend these, what you'll want to do is use about a half a centimeter to a centimeter and bend that. This is going to be kind of like where the chopsticks are going to rest. You're going to bend it once and then you're going to come back and bend again. I'm sorry, I have no idea why I'm having such difficulty doing such a simple bend. Alright. So maybe one end, that's for the chopsticks to rest. The other end, you're going to make a spiral. So you're going to start with a little loop. And the tool I'm using is a 3-in-1. So round nose, flat nose, and nippers. All in one. Very convenient. Easy to use. Alright, so you see we're at this point after the spiral, you spin it around like 2 or 3 times. What you want to do is make sure that you bend off the part where the chopsticks are going to be. And now what you want to do is realize how high you want them to sit above. So I want my spiral to end right here because that's where I want that spiral to be to hold it. So now you just spiral it off until you get to that desired length. And there you go. This is going to perfectly... Sorry, guys. I'm terrible. Anyhow, what's going to happen is this is going to sit in there like that. Hold up your chopsticks. So, go ahead and make as many more of these as you need. I'm going to go ahead and make 2 more of them and hopefully not mess them up as bad. So it'd be a little easier to follow. And yeah, I do wish I had some that were already made so you guys could see them. I'm thinking I might edit this video so that way you can see a before or an image of how it's gonna look before. I'll see. Just depends on how much effort I'm really willing to put into this video or vlog, whatever it is. I'm guessing the more effort I put into it, the higher chance I have of actually getting viewers. And then that might actually just, well, that will solve my problem as far as having enough viewers to, well, enough subscribers so that I don't have to pre-record these. And, you know, I know how to edit videos. I just, I'm not gonna lie, I just don't think I have the time for it. I like spending my time, my free time crafting and marketing and doing networking and social media. So the more time I have to dedicate to editing my videos. And the thing is, when I'm doing a task, I do like to focus and put as much time and attention to make it as nice and perfect as possible. Not one of those people who can just slap something together and hope it's okay. And honestly, the direction of this doesn't matter. Like what way it's facing. So to make these a little easier, like I did the first one, just bend it once, bend it twice. Could even bend it a 4th time, but then you squish it together, or you get as close together as possible. I just think this is about a little over an inch. About 3 centimeters for the height of this. And now this part is actually really important if you're going for this look, because you could just put your box together at this point, throw in your noodles and make a little broth sauce if you want, and throw in some whatever ingredients you want. Then just throw the chopsticks on the side. You don't have to do a suspended look. This is just my spin on it because I really like how it looks when it's suspended. Because it looks like you're just about to take a bite out of it. Right, so now we have these done. These are going to be great bases.
Can't see anything here from the white. You're doing it close to your body.
Let's
do it over the white.
Darn. I hope I was in frame this whole time, guys.
This is your
frame.
I think I
was.
The white thing is your frame. This part is not. So keep it over the white. You're good.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Love you, babe. All right. So, ooh, these are nice and pre-baked. All right, so next thing I'm gonna do, take these out. I'm gonna put those back to the side. These 3 boxes are already done. What my base is. I'm gonna push the little green peas and the garnish to the side, and now I'm gonna take my polymer clay blade. You honestly could do this with X-Acto knife. It's just whichever one's easiest. Let's give these a quick little... Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it with X-Acto knife. I do have a box cutter. That one is actually really great. Only thing is, these things might go flying. So although you can't really see me chopping it, what I'm doing is... Hello? See if I can line this up good enough. And I just stand up. Try to get a good zoom on this and a focus. Alright, so for this, what I'm doing is lining it up, and then I'm putting my finger behind the blade after I make the chop so it won't go flying. So this is extremely hard to show, but that's pretty much what I'm doing. Is before I make the cut, I put my finger behind the blade to prevent it from popping. Hope that makes sense. I'm sure there's a simpler way. Maybe make like a little tin or something. Chop it slower. I don't know. Maybe one at a time. I just have a feeling that if I do it like this, it's probably gonna go... Yeah, it still flies, so... That piece is a little too big. And I know right now it doesn't look too much like corn, But most ramen noodle cups and stuff is not too definitive. They're more like corn pieces. Now the carrots are always chopped up and they cut them into like these weird little squares. They always give you more corn than anything else. So this actually worked out just fine, having more of the yellow in there than the orange. And this seems to be working pretty well too. Okay, so now my blade is... As soon as I get something that's going well, then my blade acts up. Okay, I'm gonna put some more carrots in this, and then we're gonna get this assembled. Alright, so what you want to do is get some scrap clay. This one is like a gold, this one's actually really pretty, it's a nice gold mixture, but it is scrap clay. Actually, I do have some softer scrap clay. Scrap clay, Sculpey Original, um, just some, or bait shop, any polymer clay that's kind of like garbage, not garbage clay, but like scraps, or just something or filler clay. That is always good to use for this. And what you want to do is take your little base and cover the bottom of it, and then kind of push this to the top. And then you're going to use that to plunge in here. How much scrap clay is up to you. It depends on how full you want to fill this with the noodles and stuff. So I'm going to do that to the other two. Alright, so I think I'm going to make a correction. I'm not going to be doing a pho and ramen bowl. I'm probably just going to be doing a ramen little packet. I'll do those other ones in a different video, because this is already getting really long. So now the fun part. Remember, we want this part right here covered. Because what we're going to do is take our little chopsticks. Alright, maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I closed it a little too tight, but take your chopsticks and we're going to add them into this. And then we're going to be reclosing it. Okay, give me one moment, because I know I'm... Crafting frustrations when trying to do it live. I'm not even gonna deal with that right now. Everything wants to slip, so I'm gonna let it slip. There we go. Alright, I'm not about to spend all this time on this. It's gonna slip, it's gonna slip. That's just what's gonna happen right now. But basically, get your chopsticks into this little wire thing the best you can. And as long as you get it in there with a little hold, you are good. Because the next thing you're going to do, take one of your little noodles, and we're going to wrap this thing around here and until we hide all of it. You can do 2 noodles, 3 noodles, as many noodles as you want. I'm doing 1 for now. I like to do 1, get it in there real good and mixed up. Let's make it like a damn noodle mess. And I'm just gonna, sorry, here it goes. I'm going to keep wrapping it around this until I'm satisfied with it. And right now that doesn't look too bad. And I'm going to have this noodle come back up and out of the box like that. And now next thing you want to do is get some more noodles and fill your box. You can cut these noodles if you want. I don't cut mine because I kind of like how they look a little crazy. But if you don't want that continuous noodle look, then doing something like this could help. Just do that, and then you take your X-Acto knife or scissors, whatever, and you just come in here and you just separate your noodles out. Make more noodles. Alright, and if you can see that little metal part, add more noodles around it. Add more stuff. And if you want to turn it into a charm or something, you can add an eye pin. Stab it in and have it come out. You can even add the eye pin through here if you want. And then for me, I'm just going to take some of these that I have, sprinkle them on top. chose a great time to put my tweezers away. And push them in a little. Just mix them around. If you want to stick to the clay more, use some Bacon Bond or some PVA glue. Whatever you got. Try to avoid touching it with your hands if you can. So I'm gonna go back to that little cup I had that Mod Podge in, because there's a little tackiness still left in it. I'm gonna go ahead and just give these a little touch of that. And I also have a little liquid Kato, which is what I'm using right now. A little liquid Kato, a little liquid Kato with that little tiny bit of PVA won't hurt anything. So it's going to help everything kind of stick together. And then to give your noodles a little glossy look. Alright, so I'm going to take some of that garnish. And the little green sprinkles. And then some peas. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do it like that. And then again, to brighten it up a little, I have some chopped pastels. We're going to just dash a little on top once I get these done. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with these. Alright, I think I'm going to do it a little different than the other one. I'm going to try to do a over-under. So, I've got my sticks. I do not have my sticks. These do not match. Alright, there you go. Got two matching ones. On the over-under is, these are going over here. No, come here. Over here, then I'm going to pinch them until I can wiggle them underneath this one. There we go. Over and under. You don't have to worry too much about getting these too exact. This is trial and error right here, so it's gonna end the best you can. It's like the best advice I can give, because I've done this so many different ways. and I've never really been 100% satisfied with any of them. I'm trying this new one. I like it so far the best, but again, it's a little bit of pain. The Tickus. You can't throw a temper tantrum when you are filming. Or can I? Oh goodness, this is gonna drive me up a wall. Okay, I think that's about the best I'm gonna get on this. I better take that and run. So I'm gonna get a noodle quickly. I'm gonna try to press it in here. I'm gonna try to press it in here. Woo. My patience are being tried today. Okay, sorry, I did a bunch of this off screen. It is frustrating as hell. But this one is probably the best one I've done. Looking at it. Don't you dare. Okay, let's go and do it. Let's just go and do it. Alright, here we go. More noodles. Oh, a little bunched up. Why not? Because I'm going to cut them anyway. Alright, so yeah, I'm just gonna cut up a few. Alright, so unlike before, I'm gonna go ahead and just put the liquid kit on before I even put any of the veggies. Alright. Try not to lose my patience. It's just this is difficult. And it won't hold. Alright, let's see if this works. Give it a nice quarter turn. Maybe. What? Maybe? Yes. Oh god. Ugh. Alright, sorry guys. Just hit it with the liquid Kato again. There we go, some veggies. Now the garnish. And some peas. Alright, so the best thing to do to, you can make a sauce or a broth, or you can use chopped pastels. Okay.
Skin on or skin off?
Skin on. Alright, so I got this palette from Hobby Lobby. I'm gonna keep that same cup that I had before with the pastels. You know what, I might just go ahead and do a little... I actually think that works. I'll also mix up a little liquid here too. I'm gonna need it anyway. This one, I say make your broth the color you like. I like mine a little orangey brownish with a red tint. Which, I mean, I could just use this one, but I love the mixture of the browns and the tones. And this little dark one right here. This one's so beautiful. It has like reddish tones in it. It's like a red black. This is just the most perfect brown I've ever used ever. And I'm gonna grab some more liquid clay. You can use PVA glue. Sorry, the air from it just blew it. That could have been disastrous. Not disastrous, but I mean, it could have just been a mess. Thankful it wasn't. And just gonna mix this. Now I like using the liquid Kato, even PVA will, because it's gonna dry really clear. So the color you see now is gonna be like a clearer version of this. And yeah, I did just go ahead and blow off the rest of the powder pastels. Because when you make the little ramen cups, you're always going to see a little bit of the seasoning. Get that goober out of the way. And this is just a little sauce made up that I'm putting on these. Okay. Bad, bad, bad. I mean, not end of the world type of bad, but I'll clean it up later. I don't have time for this. And I'm going to bake this on 325 for about 20 minutes. I'm going to save the rest of the sauce to use for my bowls when I'm done with those. Alright, so I'm popping these in the oven, and then that's pretty much the process of it. I'll show you guys the end result in another video. But thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. My name is Crystal. You guys are watching my bubble, and it's my bubblegum vlog V2. Hope you guys like this. I'll show you the end result. You'll see it on Crafty. I'll list materials and things in the list. Alright, love you guys. Goodbye.